Whoever said that, I'm buying you a drink. Look, I'm gonna tell you the truth. All my life, I wanted to be on Broadway. And then I was. And not just any Broadway, Chicago on Broadway. You gotta remember, we were the Hamilton of the 90s. We were on the front page of the New York Times, not the front page of the arts and leisure section, the front page of the New York Times, above the fold. I couldn't dream any bigger than that. So what did I do when I reached my greatest dream? I stopped dreaming. I forgot to keep dreaming. And so I sat for a few years trying to figure out if what I was feeling was apathy or happiness. It's not easy for an actor. We're not used to being happy. Ooh, no, 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 we ain't. Oh, come on, David. Think big. Think big. Children. Having a family. That was my next big dream. Thank you. And so my husband and I set off on a course to adopt. And those were some of the most beautiful, blessed, horrible, devastating years of my life. Yes, we adopted 2 beautiful children. But the journey, the journey, well, life is what you do while you're waiting to die. Life is how the time goes by. Life is where you wait while you're waiting to leave. Life is where you grin and grieve. Having if you're lucky, wanting if you're not, looking for the ruby underneath the rot, hungry for the pilaf in someone else's pot, but that's the only choice you've got. Irena was our first. A beautiful baby girl, just 10 months old. We arrived at the agency just to read the paperwork on the child, and after we read it, they said, "Would you like to meet the baby?" Sure. Okay, you guys go to lunch. We'll call the foster mom, see if she can bring the baby in for a visit. So we go to lunch. And we come back. And they bring the baby in. And she falls asleep on my chest. And while she's sleeping, they said, "Look, there was a little misunderstanding with the foster mom. She didn't realize you were just here to visit the baby. She brought the baby in with all of her belongings, said a tearful goodbye, and ran out the door. If you want, you could take her now." So I left that office at 5 p.m. with a baby in my arms thinking, they're letting me leave the building with a human. But that's the only choice you've got. Well, I immediately went to Kmart. I bought a crib, I bought bottles, I bought food, I bought wipes, I bought diapers. Diapers. How do you change a baby? Life is what you feel when you can't feel at all. Life is where you fly and fall. When it was time to expand our family, then along came a little baby boy, just 2 weeks old. They told us he didn't have a name, so we named him Joseph Rain, R-E-I-G-N. The woman who delivered him to our home stood over the crib and said, "Well, now your family is complete." And it was, for a while. A couple of months later, we found out he has a name, and he has family. And they can't take care of him, but they were not at all happy that he was placed with a two-daddy family. They petitioned for him to be removed, and he was. Running for the shelter, naked in the snow, learning that a tear drops anywhere you go, finding it's the mud that makes the roses grow, but that's the only choice. You know. Jaden came to us at 6 days old. He had a smile that could light up Manhattan, man. I used to carry him and the baby Bjorn 24/7. It was the only place he would fall asleep. Me and my baby, my dear little baby. Look at my baby and me. It was like heaven in 2.5 rooms. And then I found out. 7 months later, relatives that nobody knew about came to claim him, and within 24 hours, he was gone. Life is where you grin and grieve. Less than 3 weeks later, that damn social worker called again. I didn't think I could handle any more heartache, but she assured me this little baby girl named Faith was freed for adoption. But Faith's case was different. She was already almost 2 years old, so we had to do a series of visits. Day visits, overnight visits, weekend visits, so that she could get used to us. Well, I'm very happy to say that we were able to adopt her, and she's now 14 years old. And I'm not so sure she's used to me yet. Just a couple of months after that, Faith's mom had another baby, a boy that she named Christian. Well, to make a long story short, we were not able to adopt Christian. But he is in our family, our extended family. He's been with us on vacations, summers, weekends. He is now 12 years old, and he still calls me daddy. In his adopted family, there is another little girl named Faith, and she is also 14 years old. And yes, it gets very confusing. Sometimes I have had all 4 of them at once, and when that happens, well, that's one great big world full of yes. Life is where you stand just before you are flat. Life is only that, mister. Life is simply that, sister. That and nothing more than that. Life is what you do while you're waiting to die. This is how the time goes. Thank you.